Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I've got Slothy and Sherman with me. Slothy, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. I'm quite excited to talk about this deck that you've got for us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, except I just hit the little behind the scenes here. I just hit the music button and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was like, wow, this song sounds way faster than normal. And that's because, again, my leg is still broken and I'm on a lot of painkillers and I just took them this morning. I was wondering why it was so fast. I just slammed some before I hobbled over to the computer. And I was like, who sped this song up? So I'm doing pretty good. I'm like I said, I'm in good spirits. That's how we'll call it. And Sherman, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's good to be back.
It's good to hear. Yeah, you were out of town and stuff, so you said, busy.
Yeah, really busy for personal reasons. So and all that jazz. But yeah, it's been insane. Like ever since I came back, like from vacation, it's just nonstop go for like 2 weeks. I'm just like, oh, I can't do this.
Well, yeah, you're like me. Like unless you break your leg, you don't really take any time off. So
yeah. But it is what it is.
Well, yeah, because it's almost stressful to take a vacation that way when you work a lot, because then you have to do so many things because it's the only time. When are you going to have that time again, right?
Yeah, and then you come back and it's just a gong show.
Yeah, so hopefully you got a little bit of relaxing done. Hopefully you got to unwind a bit, but
let's keep hoping.
That's fair. That's fair. Today we are talking about, again, more Bloomburrow commanders. I can't stop building them. I was talking with over on Patreon. I was saying I'm gonna illegal brew all of the calamity beasts, like the minor ones. It makes no sense. Why? Like Thunder made a great point. Like, why would you put the snake on the box, the really cool Sidewinder box, if I can't make the snake? I'm making the snake at some point. But yeah, so yeah. I've been brewing those, but I just am still in love with the Bloomburrow stuff. I've just been on a roll with enjoying it. And today we have our Helga deck. I said it last week that we were doing Helga. I really like Helga, and there's no really wrong way to build it. There's a lot of paths. I just like silly creatures. I kind of built with what I had, so my deck might be a little different than everyone's kind of thing. But Helga is a Bant commander, and normally you care more about blink stuff. This is a cast-based commander, which is kind of nice. So Helga is 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue for a 1/3 frog druid. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 4 or greater, you draw a card, you gain a life, and you put a 1/1 counter on Helga. That already would be a playable commander. I'd have no problem with that in the command zone, but they've also stapled on, because everything has to be broken. You can tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is Helgaz Skittish Seer's power. Spend only for creature spells with mana value 4 or greater, or spells with X. Creature spells with X. So, this commander is just like a powerhouse for drawing, for doing everything you kind of want to do. Like the commander itself is going to get pretty big. We've got a hefty creature section today. I think you said 53, Slothy?
Yeah, including the commander, there's 53 creatures in here.
We have a creature or two in the deck. So let's I guess jump right into it. I've kind of divided these up a little bit. Should have put these in our ramp section, but there are our basics as well. So like we have an arcane signet, just 2 mana, tap, add 1 color of your commander's identity. No problem, easy ramp.
Yep. And then I'll grab the next one here. So we got your typical soul ring for 1 mana, tap to add 2.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. Let's I guess let's just go down our category. Slothy, you can start us off with our catch-up.
Catch-up, sure. The first one we've got here is Battle Angels of Tyr. 2 double white for a 4/4 Angel Knight creature with flying and myriad. Whenever Battle Angels of Tyr deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that player has more cards in hand than each other player. Then you create a treasure token. If that player controls more lands than each other player, then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player.
Fun card.
It's a really cool card. It's one of the more expensive cards in our list. You could cut it down. Like I said, I kind of built with what was laying around. And I've had one of these for a while, and I haven't really known where to put it. I actually had 2 of these, and I got 2 Bizas, and I put the other one in the Biza deck. I love Biza so much, and Biza's the next card on our catch-up. It's 2 double white for a 4/5 elk, which is pretty good elemental elk legendary. When Biza enters, You create a treasure token if an opponent controls more land, which is awesome. You get 4 life if an opponent has more life. You get 2 blue fish if they have more creatures, and you draw a card if they have more cards in hand. It's like the ultimate catch-up one. But I really just like the artwork of it. So we're going to have a lot of time. We are going to have more life because we're gaining every time we cast creatures. We're drawing every time we cast creatures. We're probably not going to need the catch-up as much in it, but the art is beautiful. And I had to put it in. I just bought the Biza. I had to put it in. But Biza is another really expensive piece of the list. That, I think this list was total, $250, and 30 of it is those 2 creatures. So if you have better suggestions in those creature spots, I get it. Because again, we're ramp heavy, we're draw heavy. You might not need as much catch up as I was initially thinking in the brew. So maybe we chill down a little bit, but
it's all good still. It's all good. Okay, next card though we have is Keeper of the Accord for 3 and a white. Human Soldier is a 3/4. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more creatures than you, which I really doubt in this deck, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a basic plains card, put it on the battlefield, tap, and shuffle.
Yeah. There's cool cards in this section, but I think this is, out of all the sections so far, obviously we've only had artifacts, but I think it's the weakest section in the deck and the one that could use the most work, but I just really like all 3 of the cards. Yeah. So I wanted to put them in. Slothy, take us away into some of our counter theme things.
Sure. The first one we've got here is Boon of Beseju. It's 1 green for an instant. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest mana value among permanents you control, and you untap that creature.
I misread the card. That goes in my untappers. We're going to pretend it's not there, and there's a section called untappers. Don't even worry about it. Whoops. When we did the live brew last week, we organized the list a little bit, and I, number one, don't really like doing extra work on things, but I found that if I organize the list, I can hide that there's only 4 instances in the deck, and no one can criticize me because they can't see it. So that's
so you've just been bullied enough about your interaction sections that you've just decided to completely overhaul how you display the decks.
Exactly. Now I just gotta hide them a little bit, and no one will know. Okay, so our first card that actually does counters. If this one did the same thing too, I would wrap the episode and be like, guys, I've taken too many painkillers. It's time to go. Time to go. We have our Broodlord. It's X3 and a green for a 3/3. It has Ravenous, so you can sack creatures. Or nope, sorry, that's Devour. This creature enters with X/1/1 counters on it. If X is 5 or more, you draw a card, so another draw engine. I am a little silly today. So when Broodlord enters the battlefield, you distribute X/1/1 counters on any number of other target creatures you control, which is also really cool. So not only is it going to be huge itself, but we're probably going to put this on our commander to make our amount of mana we can put. We're mostly green-based mana in this deck. A lot of time we're going to pick green as that one color, but there will be different times as well.
That's a fun card. They need to reprint this one. I know it shows it's cheap here because it was in the 40K, but it's so hard to find 40K cards that you want.
A card being 50 cents is irrelevant if the card's never in a binder.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. We got Clay Champion for X and 4. Artifact creature Construct. It is a 2/2. It enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it for each 2 green spent to cast it. When the Clay Champion enters the battlefield, choose up to 2 other target creatures you control. For each 2 white spent to cast Clay Champion, put a +1/+1 counter on each of them. That's a really interesting card.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It can come out huge. It's a great mana sink for us, right? We can buff up a big part of the board if we need to. We can buff the commander. We can buff this huge creature.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's cheap. It's like $1.
Yeah. That seems really good for such a cheap card.
Yeah, right. Well, and I tried to keep most of our creatures around that 4 CMC, which it feels a little slow when you look at the cost. But again, our commander's pretty quickly going to be able to dole out 4 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I really like this card. Next up, we've got Denry Klin, Editor-in-Chief, 2 white and a blue for 2/2 Legendary Cat Advisor. Denry enters the battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 for strike or vigilance counter on it. Whenever a non-token creature you control enters, if Denry had counters on it, put the same number and kind of counters on that creature.
Denry's hilarious as a commander. Hilarious.
Yeah.
I honestly overlooked it so badly until both of you guys have talked about how enjoyable Denry is to play. And I had one just sitting around, and I was like, this is pretty good.
Oh yeah, like think of like Oblivion Stone, right? You tap it to give a counter on something, you put it on Denry, and then any creature comes out automatically gets a Oblivion Stone counter on it.
Yeah, like the fake counters.
Yeah. So, and same thing with like Kindred Boon. You name cats, you put a counter on Denry, like, and it gets indestructible. Then everything that comes in has indestructible because you give the counter on it. Like Denry's so stupid.
I think
it's even.
Oh, you go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say it's also super fun to have Goldberry as well.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, like it just seems like a fun commander to build around and everything. Just like I maybe one day I'll make a Denry deck itself, but like I said, I just had kind of one sitting around, and this seemed like the perfect deck for it. I'm super creature heavy. There's literally nothing I don't want Vigilance, First Strike, or extra counters on in this deck.
True that.
We have a Hardened Scales here. So just again, classic kind of counter things. If one or more 1/1 counters we put on a creature you control, that many +1 are put on it instead. So just doubles up how fast our commander's ramp gets going.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we have the Ozolith, the Shattered Spire for 1 and a green, legendary artifact. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1 counters are put on it instead. You can tap 1 in the green and tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery, and it has cycle 2.
Yeah.
It's a good card.
It goes back into that same, like, doubles up our ramp that we're going to be getting going.
Yeah. So expensive for this card.
Yeah. There's a few pieces. I wanted to put, I really weighed putting the original Ozolith in here, but I just didn't, I didn't think the deck needed quite that much. Like, I feel like it makes the deck a little more fun to play around if I've got to rebuild it instead of just like, okay, you removed it and I play it again and here it is. It's back to a 13-13 or 13-16, whatever it would be. Right? It just kind of, you can power the deck up a little bit that way, but I just felt this Ozolith was more on theme of what I was going for. Like it's not a very salty deck. It's pretty basic. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The next one we've got is Verdrous Gearhulk. 3 double green for a 4/4 artifact creature construct with trample. When it enters, distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control.
The reason I like this one so much is if we're just playing 1 land a turn and we're on curve, we drop our commander for 3. We play any of our 4 costs to get our first commander thing up. And then we drop this next, and our commander is going to be able to tap for 5 mana.
Yeah,
that's
pretty solid.
Yeah, which is awesome, right? Like if this is our turn 5 drop, our commander sitting there, we're drawing us a card, we're tapping it for 5 mana, which plays nearly everything in the list on its own after we cast it. So I like it. And again, there's just other creatures that sometimes are fun to buff. And then the last one in our counter section is Vigor. Vigor's also kind of expensive right now, $12, which is a little wild. But it's 3 triple green for 6/6 elemental incarnation with trample. If damage will be dealt to another creature you control, you prevent it. You put a 1/1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. And when Vigor's put in a graveyard from anywhere, you shuffle it into its owner's library, which makes our commander like a very, very viable block option if we can get at those vigilance counters from Denry.
Yeah. Just go out and attack. Like, give me counters. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Swing your 13-13. Someone has to block it. It now becomes 6 bigger. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sort these creatures. They didn't have specific sections, so our mini creature section we'll go into. So Sherman, take us away, please.
Yeah, so we got the Archetype of Imaginations off the bat. So it's for 4 and double blue. Enchantment creature, human wizard. It's a 3/2. Creatures you control have flying, and creatures your opponents control lose flying and cannot gain flying.
I feel like in this deck you want to wait until it's like flooded with creatures before you drop this one. I don't think you want to drop this one lightly.
Yeah,
no, I think you want to wait until you're ready to win with this, or do a big splash before you put this one down.
It's just such an annoying card.
It's a really annoying card. I hate this card. You need a reach-based deck. Walls unite.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go, Pramicon. Next up, we've got Archon of Coronation. 4 double white for 5/5 Archon with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. As long as you're the Monarch, damage does not cause you to lose life.
Pretty good card.
I mean, I'd be inclined to believe the 53 creatures in this deck would have you not lose life, but that works too.
Yeah. Well, and we're also gaining life. It's really, really understated how much life you're going to gain that every time you get a creature, you get it. Like you could almost go a cool Clerics deck with this too.
Yeah, true.
We have Clever Impersonator, and for the first time that I've put Clever Impersonator in a list, I don't even know what the best thing to copy is. There's like so many things and like pieces that are just pretty good to copy. Like I don't have a specific target for Clever Impersonator, but I always like it as just kind of a toolbox card because it's really good at getting other people's doubling seasons or other people's really good cards. Maybe somebody has like a Ulamog and you don't enjoy their Annihilator, so you want to swing back and forth with them. I just always like it as a toolbox card whenever I'm doing a creature heavy deck that has blue. Yeah. Oh, I guess I should say what it does. It's 2 double blue for a 0/0 shapeshifter. You can have it enter as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. Pretty okay.
You seriously do have a lot of creatures here, so it's really, really hard to determine what you would want.
Yeah, it's kind of case by case, right?
Yeah. Like, oh, sure, we can have double vigor, we can have double, like, like, I don't know, Clay Champion, but it makes no difference for certain things, but other things it does.
We've got some creatures later on that I think are pretty good to clone a copy of, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay, so the next card here is Glenelendra Archmage for 3 and a blue. Creature, Fairy Wizard, 2/2, flying. Tap a blue, sacrifice Glenelendra Archmage, counter target non-creature spell, and it has persist. So when the creature dies, if it has no +1/+1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a -1/-1 counter on it. This card in this deck, I can see just being a huge problem.
Wait, because you have so many ways to put counters on things, right? So you just have a permanent counter spell.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh man, like I would just, if I saw this, I would just try to find a way to like get rid of all your blue mana instead of getting rid of Glenelendra.
True.
Then we've got the Metastatic Evangel, 1 and a white for 3/1 Phyrexian Human Cleric. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you proliferate.
Ouch.
Yeah. Again, just doubles up our ramp ability. I also just love the flavor text on this one every time I see it. I am no sleeper agent. I am a liberator. It is you who are asleep. Damn.
Damn.
That's pretty good.
Right? I love it. We have Psychosis Crawler because we have a draw-based deck, and I had an extra Psychosis Crawler because it didn't make sense in a Mrs. Bumbleflower list. Why would they put it there? Why?
Hey, this was in Mrs. Bumbleflowers? Are you serious?
It sure was. It sure was, yeah. But let me quickly crack out my group. The Mrs. Bumbleflower list, also, like, it reminded me of the joke Brian did a long time ago when he said, he's like, oh, this is my group hug deck, and then he tried to cast Ginger Taxes, and I was like, what are you doing? That's the same kind of thing. Like, hey, this is my casual group hug deck. So anyways, I Psychosis Crawler, like building Nekusar in Bant. Yeah. So Psychosis Crawler, my favorite group hug card, 5 mana for a star Phyrexian Horror. Power and toughness equal to the number of cards in your hand, which usually will be a lot. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses a life. Not bad. The nice thing, too, about our commander is the draw isn't stapled to that tap ability. The tap ability is only for creatures 4 or less. But if you, I feel the card would have been a little more what I would call fair if when you tapped it, you got the draw, the life gain, and the counter. Like, you had to tap it every time for that. But the fact that you just get that on cast doesn't matter. Like, you can cast 5/4 drops a turn if you have the mana and draw 4 cards or whatever number.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so Psychosis Crawler just kind of fit those things. I was drawing. a good kind of way to just put a little passive life drain for people in there.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm guessing we're going on to the next section, draw.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a classic here, Arcanus, the Omnipotent. Blah, 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 blah. For 3 triple blue, legendary creature wizard. 3/4. Tap it, draw 3 cards. You can also tap 2 and 2 blue and return it to your hand.
I am super in love with this card in this deck for so many reasons. Number one, just a cool card. It's just one of my old favorite cards. It's fun. Anything that has a tap to draw 3 cards is always going to have a good place in my heart.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a repeatable draw for us, right? Like, because we can not only draw with Arcanus, but we can just keep triggering Helga if we want. We can just keep making Helga bigger and bigger and bigger by just bringing it back to our hand with our extra mana.
So true.
Then we've got Archivist. 2 double blue for a 1/1 human wizard that you can tap to draw a card.
Weak. Whack Arcanus. We have Beast Whisperer as well. That's going to draw us a lot of cards. There's 53 creatures in the deck. We want Beast Whisperer out. It is 2 double green for a 2/3 elf druid. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card. Very simple.
Yeah. Oh, this card I've been trying to find constantly, and no one ever has it. And it's annoying. And that's Danny Pink for 3 and a blue. Legendary creature, human soldier, advisor for 4/3. It has mentor, so whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. And it has creatures you control have whenever 1 or more counters are put on this creature. For the first time each turn, you draw a card. It's such a hard card to find. It's so annoying.
Yeah. As much as I complained about the Doctor Who set the whole time we talked about the Doctor Who set, it had some phenomenal cards in it.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
It most definitely did.
Like the again, I don't know enough about the story or the show in general, but like cards like this they're well designed. The Universe Beyond stuff has really done a good job. Like the Assassin's Creed set was killer. The Doctor Who set was really killer. I love the 40k set. Like they have been doing a pretty good job with a lot of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that this gives all your creatures that, it's just, again, in the deck, because as my commander, it gives me an extra chance to get that more draw, right? We're really filling our hands up with this. You can pretty easily outdraw yourself.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Disciple of Freyalise. This is 3 double green for a 3/3 elf druid. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you gain X life, draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. And it flips into the Garden of Freyalise, which is a land that enters tapped unless you pay 3, and you can tap it for a green.
These uncommon bolt lands were so cool.
They're interesting. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, in a worst case, right, we've got a lot of life gain in the deck, so it doesn't matter if we need this early. But best case, it just fills like another big spot that's going to give us a huge like potential card refill.
Yeah.
We have Garrick's Uprising again. 2 and a... That's not blue, that's a green. 2 and a green. When it enters, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card, which we probably will. Creatures you control have trample, which is pretty good as a passive. And whenever a creature you control with power 4 or greater enters, draw a card.
Dope. Such a great card.
It's been reprinted so many times, and it's still not enough times.
Very true.
It's so useful, especially in green, because it's, like, you have all these big creatures. Like, if they had just something in, like, white, okay, it'd be like, all right, it's not as useful, but, like, it would still be there because of angels.
Yeah.
Right? But we put it in green, where you have so many creatures that have such a huge power, and then you're giving it trample, which is the more annoying part, and then they're getting a card draw at the same time. Like, come on.
It's been reprinted like 10 times since 2021.
Oh my goodness.
Still never enough. It's a good card.
All right, let's move on here to Karuga, the Macro Sage, for 3 and a hybrid blue, green, blue, green. So, Simic. That's what it was. I know colors. Legendary creature Dino Hippo. What the heck just happened?
Oh, I'm just changing the version to this one. That's the one that's in the deck. Sorry, please.
It is a 5/4. It has companion. Your starting deck contains only cards with mana value 3 or greater and land cards. That's definitely not the case here, so it's gonna be in the 99. When Karuga enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with mana value 3 or greater.
Huge refill for us.
I have very mixed feelings about this card.
Oh,
It is a very good card.
But it's very sweet.
I have about 45 of them from opening Ikoria. This was like the only rare that I ended up pulling for a lot of them.
fair. Karuga's a great card, but not if Karuga's your rare. I don't want nonstop
Yeah.
Karugas. That was me with Lutris.
Yeah.
I pulled so many Lutris. Can't tell me I can't play it. Free my boy.
It's literally in my hand right now.
Yeah. If it can't be in my deck, then why is it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Moving on here, we got Primordial Sage, 4 double green for a 4/5 spirit. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may draw a card.
The May is nice because I think we are going to end up with a lot of times where we've got too many cards in hand. It's not bad. Again, pretty decent little spirit. We have as well as Soul of the Harvest, 4 double green for a 6/6 elemental with trample. Whenever another non-token creature enters under your control, you may draw a card. Again, that May is nice because we're already drawing on the cast. We're drawing a lot in this deck.
Oh yeah,
Drawn
100%.
on the cast, on the Beast Whisperer.
Yeah, like you're drawing from your commander, let alone everything else.
Right?
Mhm.
Everything is a draw.
Yeah, and then we come to our final card here for this category, which is Tribute to the World Tree for 3 green. Enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. Such a great card.
Honestly, this card needs a reprint again. I really like putting this card in decks.
They should have made this card say whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield. Honest truth.
Not the way I play Arena. They shouldn't have. It's like my favorite thing in Arena is my deck is not good, but it's really fun to just Song of Totenaz with this. So I just make 50 rats. I'll be like, oh yeah, here's 50 into Song of Totenaz. They're all 3/3s. Deal with my rat army.
Good lord.
Depending, as a little aside, depending how much longer I'm off work, if they tell me I have to be off work for longer, I'm probably just going to stream a bunch of Arena while I'm off because that's what I've been playing. Just been sitting playing Arena because it's a good time.
Just do standard or you do brawl?
Both. I started doing both of them and everything. I made a cool Balin deck for Brawl, which was really fun to play. I made a Biza deck for Brawl, which is again also a really fun one. And I just really like making rat tokens with Tribute to the World Tree. It's really fun to be so behind everyone, have 2 life left, and they're sitting there spamming good game, and I dump 30 into Song of Totenaz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a real smile on my face when I'm doing it.
And then you start the spamming.
Yeah. We have 2 enchantments in the deck. They're both super annoying. You want to take the first one here, Slothy?
Sure. The first one we've got here is Dense Foliage. It's 2 and a green. Creatures can't be the target of spells.
Interact with nothing. My deck is all creatures.
That's so annoying.
That is annoying. And then we have Epic Struggle, just a nice little side win con for our deck. 2 double green. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more creatures, you win the game. Which is possible.
This kind of reminds me of another card that could really work well in this deck, but I just assume you didn't have one on hand.
Is it the white one?
Strixhaven Stadium.
Strixhaven Stadium would be really good in the deck. It's a great piece of ramp, and you got so many creatures to trigger it, so you could really easily get through. Another one is the name's blanking on me right now. It's 2 and a white. It lets you tap and untap and make citizens.
Halo Fountain.
There we go. Yeah, Halo Fountain could have been really good. We've got a lot of creatures we can untap, so untapping 15 wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, meh. All right, yeah, see, there's some instance in the deck. Here we go.
Yeah, we got 4 here. Good enough. Right. Okay. We started off here with Dawn's Truce for 1 and a white. you first have gift a card. So you may promise an opponent a gift as you cast a spell. If you do, they draw a card before its other effects. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. If the gift was promised, permanents you control also gain indestructibility until end of turn. Such a fantastic card.
Yeah. This is the artwork of that archive, the big one.
Yeah.
Getting those,
I noticed that.
Getting those was a real struggle. I had to really, really beg the game, like our LGS owner, and then he couldn't even order them. There's none to order. He had to ask someone who at the distributor who had one to give him a personal set to send over to get this box. So I'm very appreciative of this card and of my game store.
Wow.
Yeah, they came through on it. Oh, it's the coolest box ever. I've got I was like so excited. I was like, yeah, let's go play Magic. And I was like, still can't walk. Interesting. I was about to load myself in the car. Just crutches and an archive. That's all you need.
All you need.
Yeah, Dawn's Truce is just it's a really cool card. It's very, very cool story spotlight wise. The lore-bound stuff I do, lore-bound legends. We'll be talking about the story a little bit more. I haven't had I hurt myself and then my wife hurt myself at the same time. Not myself. My wife didn't hurt me, promise. I hurt myself and my wife hurt herself.
Blink twice if you need help, Dad.
At the same time. And so she's been trying to help me out because my leg's broken, but like her knee's like really injured. So she's also been, so we haven't been doing any of our recording stuff. We've just been trying to survive, just trying to make it work, trying to not fall downstairs. You get it. It's
all slide in your house now.
That would be fun. I just can never get back to the top floor. It just goes progressively lower and lower, and I'm stuck in the basement.
That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, right. No, it sounds like the basement, the basement people's problem. Okay, but yes, Dawn's Truce is a very cool card. Whose turn is it? It is.
I believe it is mine.
All right, Slothy, please. This should be in the counter section.
Yeah, this should replace. Oh, you already moved it. Never mind. We got Gaia's Gift. It is 1 and a green. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains reach, trample, hexproof, and indestructible until end of turn.
And with
hexproof is just so useful in the indestructibility. Oh,
it's nice. Like it's a nice little piece to save. And now it's up in the counter section where it should be, where it was all along. We've got to naturalize because I'm a simple man. There's so many better cards than naturalize, but I've got a stack of naturalizes and I'm going to use them. So we have naturalize, 1 and a green. It's like one of the only instances I put in decks. You destroy target artifact or enchantment. You could, there's a lot of better pieces of removal or cheaper ones like the, what's the one that gains you 4 life?
Nature's Claim.
Nature's Claim is great.
Yeah.
4 life and commander doesn't matter.
Yeah, the other one to replace naturalize would be Wilt. So it's 1 in green as well and does the same thing, but it has cycle just in case.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a stack of Wilts. I bought a bunch of Wilts and I probably put them all in decks. And yeah, but I do have naturalizes. I got them coming out the wazoo. I got naturalizes everywhere.
It's nice to use older cards. Who cares? It makes no real difference.
Yeah.
So the last instant we have here in this category, I'm sure you have more instances kicking around here somewhere. We have a repulsive mutation for X and a green and a blue. Put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Then counter up to 1 target spell unless its controller pays mana equal to greatest power among creatures you control. Ooh.
That does a lot of cool things.
It does so many awesome things.
It doesn't even have to be that creature's power, just the biggest power you have on board.
Yeah. That's so annoying.
Yeah, even even if you have like a 6/6 like out, even if you put 0 into X, it's just pay 6 or counter.
Yeah.
At the same cost as a mana leak.
Awesome.
And I love it. It's up to 1. You don't need to counter a spell, so you can just dump it in to put X counters on something that gets through. There's so much utility with this card, and I never play it. I started playing it in, I built Marcus the Mutant Mare after Slothy's Felix deck. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I need to build this commander. And then I found this one, and then I just keep buying more and more of this card because I think it's so, like, I think it's just a really undervalued card. It's so hard to, like, actually find the value of, like, commons and uncommons in the sets when we have 13 sets a year and 5 commander decks in each of these sets, and then like 3, so like it kind of slips under the radar, but it's a really good card. I love this one.
Which section are we going over next?
We'll just scroll through my lands here. They're not good. I've been really putting in a lot of these, I've been going with a lot of tap duels lately, and a lot of these tap duel deserts. I really like them. Can't pronounce that word right now. We're going to skip that one. Let's find one that I can. There we go. Lonely Arroyo. We'll pretend that those are that. So the deserts that enter tapped, deal damage to target opponent, and then they tap for a blue or a green, or Lush Oasis. I kind of like those. They feel, I found a lot. So I've got like another little insider baseball thing. I have a lot of dual lands. I've played for a really, really long time. I have a lot of expensive old cards just because I played for a long time. And no matter how bad my deck is, a lot of time my deck's not very good. But I'll play a dual land because I had a dual land sitting around, and I was like, let's put a mana section in. And then it kind of targets the table. Like, they rightfully so probably think like, okay, well, if he's dropping like $300, $400 lands, he's probably going a little harder than we were anticipating. Let's target him. So a lot of times, like, just playing these cheaper duels has made me, I don't know, it slows the games down a little bit. And I don't know. I find my games are a little more fun not relying on those, but they do. A lot of times my decks aren't good, but have dual lands in them. Like my favorite deck I've ever built is my Kenrith Skip My Turns deck. And that's got like I think $10,000 or $11,000 land base. It's not a good deck. It's like the worst deck I've ever made, but it's funny, but it's a funny deck to play.
So true.
But yeah, like it sucks. So like I found myself, before we were talking and stuff, I've been scanning decks while I've been off work, like just trying to get all of my collection. And I got so many decks that getting them all in list format has been not going well. So I've been using some of this time while I'm off to do that. And we were talking about how like my building style has changed so much. And I really, really go a lot harder with these tap duels now. I really, really like them. I love the call time snow duels. I still don't mind the rule 0 of like your snow duels like can come in tapped as dual lands and stuff like that, or untapped. I like that with groups that like those, but I've just been really, really bringing my land section down. Like this is a $27 land section. I don't even know what's expensive in it. Probably just my check lands, like $7, $3. I don't think I have anything that's crazy. Yeah, it's all the check lands. The enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands.
Yeah, I think everything else is less than $1.
Yeah, everything else is like cheap.
And you can replace those with something else, so it's not a big deal.
Well, yeah, even still, right? If my expensive land section is one that's $5.99, one that's $6.99, and one that's $3.49, I'm okay. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's hit our ramp section here.
Right.
Whose turn was it even before I went on my tangent?
Me.
Okay.
You covered the land, so I'm taking over now.
All right, please.
All right. So we got Avacyn's Pilgrim for a single green. It is a 1/1 human monk, and you can tap it to add a plains.
Then we've got the Birds of Paradise, single green for a 0/1 bird with flying. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color.
This is a cheap ramp section too. Look at me go. We have an Elvish Mystic. It's 1 green, another Elf Druid. You can tap it for 1 green as well, and it's a 1/1. I like it.
Yeah. And then we have the next one is going to be a Finhorn Elves for a single green. Once again, Elf Druid, 1/1, taps for a green. Remember when they finally decided to reprint this, and everyone was like saying like, "Oh my goodness, yeah!" Because like the only copy there was at that time was the stupid Ice Age one, and it was like $20 or something stupid.
Yeah, what was it? It was it was Ice Age, and it looked horrible.
Yeah, that one.
Ugh.
Oh wow, it's only $280 now.
It's finally dropped down, but yeah, like having the trio of them for a while was kind of like a mini accomplishment, right? Because you could never find it.
Yeah, it was so difficult because they only printed it once. So when they reprinted it, everyone like literally gave out a huge cheer.
It's still like a $2 card though.
Yeah,
I wish it came down.
Like compared to a Llanowar Elves, like come on.
Yeah.
Well, even I guess Mystic is $1.29. I guess so many people play those in like the Eternal formats, like Commander and stuff, right? Like they're just bait.
And a lot of people play elves decks, right? So
Yeah, elves is always going to be a fun archetype. Elf decks are great. The Lord of the Rings really, really brought back another set that really, really killed it. They Lord of the Rings brought back my love of like building elf decks because there was just so many different kinds. Like I've built endless Galadriel decks. The like Scry Galadriel was really, really cool. The Arwen decks are really cool.
Yeah. All
right, Slothy, take the silliest artwork in Magic. I would have loved this as a giant card. This would be front and center in the studio if it was. But I would also love this as a playmat, as a poster. It's one of the funniest artworks I've ever seen. I love it.
Yeah. We've got Inga and Estika. 2 green-blue for a 4/4 legendary human god. Creatures you control have vigilance and tap to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. And whenever you cast a creature spell, if 3 or more mana from creatures was spent to cast it, draw a card. Works really well with your commander.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The next one I kind of thought of putting in the counter section because it's so good for that. But it is a better it's a better piece of ramp if you can put counters on it. So Cammy of Whispered Hopes, which again also needs a reprint at like almost $4 already. It's 2 and a green for a 1/1 spirit. If 1 or more 1/1 counters will be put on a permanent you control, that many +1 are put on instead. And you tap to add X mana of any one color where X is Cammy of Whispered Hope's power. It's a great target for putting more and more counters on. Like if you have that Ozlith out, Helga and it are both going to double benefit from the power generating. And it's cool artwork.
So fun. All right. So we got another one here. Karametra, or Karametra, however you want to pronounce it. God of Harvest for 3 and a green and a white. Legendary enchantment creature. It's a god. It is a 6/5. It has indestructible. As long as your devotion to green and white is less than 7, it's not a creature. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a force or planes. Put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Such a strong card in this deck.
I love that it can fetch our tap duels. Like I was saying, those call time ones, the Tangled Islets, the Rimewood Falls, Radiant Grove.
Because it says force or planes, it doesn't care.
Yeah, I love Karametra. Karametra's one of my favorite commanders to build around. But it's just such a cool card to be able to keep putting in. I love the artwork on it. I love the effect. 6/7 Indestructibles. Nothing to complain about.
Then we've got Llanowar Elves. Single green for a 1/1 Elf Druid. You can tap it for green.
Yeah.
Hooah!
I wonder why that doesn't have a price on it. Oh, it's because it's from the Foundation set that's upcoming, which isn't out. We will make it a core set. There we go. It's also $1.29. That's pretty wild. Why does this not have a price too? We also
that's why you gotta go with, for those ones, you gotta go with like 4 revised editions because those ones are literally the cheapest.
True. Llanowar's well played though. We have a Noble Hierarch that for some reason the price hadn't populated with it, so it's going to be $13 extra in the deck or 14. But it's just a great piece of ramp you can easily replace as well if you don't have one around. It's 1 green. It has Exalted. It's a human druid 0/1, and it taps for 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue. It's just a nice early color fix.
Yeah.
It's so nice, and like let's face it, the Exalted is so fun. Like it just adds on. It's just that little extra punch.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one here is Ornithopter of Paradise for 2 mana. Artifact creature Thopter for 0/2. It has flying, and you tap it for adding 1 mana of any color.
Yeah.
Next up is sorry.
I was just gonna say I have a deck name for this, but I'll share it after. Yeah, don't worry. It'll be in the show note. But I have a name. I've got a name. We're good.
Next up we've got Selvala, Eager Trailblazer. 2 green and a white for a 4/5 legendary elf scout with vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap to have target creature you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Then you can tap and choose a color. Add 1 mana of that color for each different power among creatures you control.
I think this would be a really fun commander to build too.
Kind of like a little coven thing going.
Yeah. Right? I thought that was a fun mechanic too.
Mm-hmm.
But like the fact that this is a token generator every time, it's not They're not things that can't block like the rats that I always generate with the Totenass thing. So they're just great blockers to generate on a creature cast. It's another huge piece of ramp. Like it's always going to tap for a minimum of 1. But even on this one line here, right? This would make Selvala tap for 3 with the Ornithopter, Selvala, and then over to our Solemn here. Like, it does really help out a lot.
You could even use the Mercenaries to buff up Helga to get more mana out of that, which I quite like.
Yeah.
I do like that. That's really smart. Because those Mercenaries become, let me go up to Helga here. Yeah, it's just Helga's power. Oh, that's pretty cool. See, Slothy, this is why we keep you around. I didn't even think about that. That's really exciting because you're going to have so many of those. Like, you just like tap all of them, be like, hey, Helga gets +10/+10. I add 10 extra green.
Yeah.
So true.
All right. This is why we keep you, bud. This is good. I like this. Okay, so we have a Solemn Simulacrum. I don't put it in a lot of decks, but again, it kind of does whatever we want. We want to draw that 4 mana, right? We want to every time we want to get our draw off, we want to get our things off. It's extra ramp for us. It's just nice. 4 mana 2/2. You can, when it enters, you may search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, shuffle, great. When it dies, you draw a card, so it's a great throwaway blocker or aggro attacker. Oh, I love it. Yep, I was just scrolling up to reread Helga again, make sure I actually got it. We have 2 pieces of recursion in the deck. They're pretty light recursion, but
light, he says. Yeah, first one we have here is a Karmic Guide.
Pretty light recursion.
So, Karmic Guide for 3 double white. Creature, Angel Spirit, 2/2, flying, protection from block, which does matter, okay? Like, people always look at things with protection, they're like, it's not a big deal. No, it always matters.
True.
It has Echo for 3 double white. So Echo is at the beginning of your upkeep. If this came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, you sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. Okay. And then when Karmic Guide enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yeah.
Fun.
Then we've got Paleoloth. 4 double green for 5/5 beast. Whenever another creature with power 5 or greater comes into play under your control, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
True. I just like that card.
Yeah.
I haven't had a spot for Paleoloth in a while.
I like that it returns it to your hand as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can keep getting your draw triggers and everything.
Yeah.
We've got
the quote on it though. Gods do not sleep soundly in the earth's embrace.
True enough. Like it. We have a removal section. I sometimes make those. It's not good. It's not very good, but it's there. There's 6 cards in it. We start us off with Slothy. No, you did Paleoloth. It is my turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Acidic Slime. 3 double green for 2/2. Ooze with Death Touch. When it enters, you destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. I like it.
Good old classic. We have the Cityscape Leveler for 8 mana. It's an artifact creature construct that is an 8/8. 8 mana for an 8/8? Sure. So we have it having trample, and when you cast this spell, and whenever Cityscape Leveler attacks, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a tapped Power Stone token, and it has Unearth of 8. Holy smokes, this is $16?
Losing your good cards and being like, oh, well, don't worry, I've given you a Power Stone, I'm actually group hug ramping you. Hilarious.
Hey, you know what? That can be useful because, like, if the person's like, I'm short 1 mana, no problem. Let me attack you with a Cityscape Leveler. What do you not care about? Oh, your Clue Stone or your Clue or like food token? All right, let me destroy that. Now you have a Power Stone. Now you have an extra mana.
But the Power Stone's only for mana or for artifact. It's the worst. It's the worst token.
But what if they really do just need that 1 extra mana?
Well, I mean, in that very specific instance, I guess it is pretty good and helpful and group huggy.
There you go.
I am looking at the
But otherwise,
ceiling.
I feel like you might get smacked.
I am looking at the ceiling here. Not the floor. We're not winning right now. We are winning. We're not losing. We are winning.
We're not winning friends with that kind of play though. I keep seeing those memes. I don't know what's been going on with Magic memes on Instagram, but I keep seeing when you tell your friend, hey, we want a mana and path to exile their commander. Oh, I love it so much. You want me to help you get mana? It's great.
Next one we've got here is Return to Dust, 2 double white. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If you cast a spell during your main phase, you may exile up to one other target artifact or enchantment.
Yeah, I love that card.
Mm-hmm.
Great card.
Turn you back up there a little bit. Don't know why I turned you down so much. We've got our next removal piece is Silverback Elder, one of my favorite cards. I love the artwork. It's so silly. 2 triple green for a 5/7 ape shaman. Whenever you cast a creature, you choose one. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Awesome. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You can put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped and the rest on the bottom in a random order or gain 4 life.
Monkey.
It is the monkey.
Yep. Crazy monkey. All right. We're down for 1 and a green. It is a sorcery. You gift a card and you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. If the gift was promised, instead destroy 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. Totally worth it.
Yes.
You don't even have to give the card to the person whose stuff you're wrecking.
Yeah, it's so good.
You just be like, hey, Sherman, you want to see something hilarious? Slothy, get rid of that and that. Sherman, draw a card.
We're making friends, right?
Yep.
This is a group hug deck, right?
Friends. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It has gift a card.
We got such group hug staples as Wear Down and Cityscape Leveler.
Oh, don't forget Psychosis Crawler. I was going to say, I have about as many as the Mrs. Bumbleflower precon.
There you go.
I'm never going to stop talking about that one.
No. The final removal piece we've got here is Witch Enchanter. 3 and a white for 2/2 human warlock. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment opponent controls, and it flips into, or can be cast as, Witch Blessed Meadow, which is a land. Enters tapped unless you pay 3 life, and taps 4 white.
Another little bullet land. And then I think this is our final section. No, it's not. I got sections for days. Let's go. Let's jump into our tokens then. We have a few things that make us tokens because we want to sometimes overrun the board a bit. Our first one is Arasta of the Endless Web. 2 double green for 3/5 legendary enchantment creature spider. With reach, whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery, you create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach.
Solid.
Great card. I love it. The next one we have here is Bramble Sovereign for 2 double green. It's a creature dryad. That's a 4/4. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 and a green. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token that's a copy of that creature. So, this is almost like the original Offspring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And an actual group hug card. You can be nice and do it to other people too.
Yeah. I love the little bunny.
This should have been in Bloomborough?
Maybe
a little.
That would have been, if they reprinted this in Bloomborough, I could totally see why. So they probably should have.
Yeah, it hasn't been since Baldur's Gate. This would have been great in the Mrs. Bumbleflower deck, but no.
Yeah.
No, we don't get that.
No, Psychosis Crawler.
We get Colonian Hydra.
Colonian Hydra.
Because that makes sense.
Next one we've got here is God Eternal Oketra. 3 double white for a 3/6 legendary zombie god with double strike. When you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie creature token with vigilance. And when God Eternal Oketra dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it on top of its owner's library, 3rd from the top.
Love it.
Fantastic card.
4/4 black zombie warriors with vigilance is quite the token on a creature cast in a deck with 50 creatures.
It's annoying.
It's really annoying.
Anything with vigilance, it's annoying. I'm going to swing out at you with all these 4/4s. They're big enough that they're a problem. So you're gonna lose some stuff. Oh wait, you have vigilance, so you can't. Don't have to worry about a crackback. That's so annoying.
Well, yeah, and there's such throwaways for us because we're just getting them every time we cast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have Gruff Triplets because again, I play a lot of Arena right now, and I like to play this card. It's 3 triple green for a Satyr Warrior 3/3 with trample. When Gruff Triplet enters, if it isn't a token, you create 2 tokens that are copies of it. When Gruff Triplets dies, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to its power on each creature you control named Gruff Triplets. Gets pretty big, pretty fast.
I really like this one.
It's a cool card.
Yeah.
Good card. For 6 mana, totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got the Hollowhenge Overlord for 4 double green. Creature wolf. 4/4. It has flash. At the beginning of your upkeep, for each creature you control, that's a wolf or a werewolf, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token.
It has to get removed. You can't just leave it alone on the field for a while.
Or, hear me out here, you don't remove it.
That's true. Or you leave it be.
It's like, you could attack me. I know I'm the problem. You could attack me. Or, hear me out here, you just don't.
True. That next card's really annoying too.
Yeah, we got Silverwing Squadron. 5 and a white for a star human knight, flying in vigilance. When its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. And whenever Silverwing Squadron attacks, create a number of 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance equal to the number of opponents you have.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's pretty annoying. It's a big enough card that you can't just leave it alone, and it's annoying. Like, it just every time makes 3.
Yeah.
Love it. We have our Volo Guide to Monsters. 2, 1 green, 1 blue for a 3/2 human wizard. Whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control, or a creature card in your graveyard, you copy that spell. Elves aren't going to trigger very often with this, but our other ones will.
This is such a fun commander.
I love Volo.
It's a fun commander, but annoying to keep track of.
Yep.
Yes.
I like that. For that reason alone, I like the mono blue Volo with background in green, so that I have my Volo's journal so that I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one we have here is Wolverine Riders for 4 double green. Creature, elf, warrior, 4/4. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. Whenever another elf creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness.
I love that. Anything that's each upkeep makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Yeah. And then, okay, we have one final section. We're almost there.
Yeah, I believe it's the Untappers here.
Yeah, I think we already read the first one, so we'll pretend it's not even in the list there. We'll pretend it's back up in our counter section, and I still can't read. So, Slothy, take us away.
Yeah, the first/second untapper we've got here is Burst of Energy. Single white for an instant. You can untap target permanent.
Yeah, I love the flavor text of this old stuff. I stand ready to die for our world. Who will stand with me? Radiant Archangel. Damn.
Nice. That's not me, though, but I appreciate the quote.
I love it. That's funny. We have a Chakram Retriever. It is 4 and a blue. It's 2/4. It has partner. We don't care about that. Whenever you cast a spell during your turn, untap target creature. This is going to be problematic because you're going to be able to, once your commander's got 5 or 6 mana, you're sitting there just drawing through and getting creature after creature after creature. Because I don't put a lot of lands in decks. We sure know you're not drawing instants.
Such a good boy. Such a good boy. Oh. We have a Fate Stitcher for 3 and a blue. I almost said white there. I don't know why.
Sherman's on painkillers too.
Wizard. Creature Zombie Wizard. 1/2. You can tap it and you may tap or untap another target permanent. It also has Unearth for a single blue, so you can return this card from your graveyard to play. It gains haste, and then you remove it from the game at the end of turn. So, and you can only Unearth as a sorcery.
Fair.
Then we've got Kiora's Follower. Green and a blue for 2/2 Merfolk. You can tap it to untap target permanent, or another target permanent.
Yeah, which is nice. Again, it's going to be our commander. Spoiler. All of these are going to target our commander generally.
Yeah.
And then I hate this card when it's played against me. I hate the next card so much. It's the last card on our list. It's Sereth the Viper's Fang. 2 double green for a 3/4 human warlock. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch, which is super problematic with our thing that gives all our creatures trample. That Garrick's Uprising is a big problem. Because then we just one mana roll the board. Untapped creatures you control have Hexproof, which is silly. And then 1 and a tap, untap another target creature or land you control.
That is annoying.
It is annoying. It's a really, really annoying card.
I love this card.
Yeah,
when I'm not against it.
It's so annoying to have everything have trample or death touch or hexproof, and to be able to untap another target creature or land. Oh, it's pretty good. But yeah, that's my Helga list. What do you guys think?
Slothy, you go ahead first. Oh, good.
Sure. I really enjoy it. I think it is incredibly fun. Nice. Exactly what I would expect you to do with a deck like this. Being there, 53 creatures, 7 instants. Yeah, I really, really enjoy it, and I think it's going to be fun to play against as well.
Helga's really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm brewing my third Helga list now.
Oh my goodness.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I have to say it is an interesting commander overall. Like I don't know how I would build this. Like I probably would have, like, you definitely have a nice build here. I probably would have gone with Untapped Shenanigans, to be honest.
Untapped Shenanigans definitely seems like the strongest way to build Helga.
Yeah, because every time, like, you can tap Helga to cast whatever creature, and then you can untap, and then you get that draw, and then like you can untap Helga to get that mana again to cast whatever you just drew.
Anything like a Cloudstone Curio loop as well, like where you're able to bounce things in and out kind of as well, would also be monster.
So, but like this is a really, really interesting commander. Like I would be interested in seeing other builds of this, but this one's definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying, the weakest section in it is the catch-up section, and I put them in because I was like, oh, this will be fun and stuff, but I can't really see you being very behind in this deck.
No, I can't.
No.
So maybe that'll be my edited section by the time people listen to this. The current list will always be in the show notes generally. So if it doesn't match what's in it, it means we've learned from our mistake of never learning to put instants in. But we've learned from other mistakes like that we don't need to have a catch-up section in a deck that's all gasoline.
Yeah. Like even if you take out the 3 cards from catch-up, I would consider throwing in board wipes that target artifacts and enchantments.
Yeah. A Bane of Progress could also be like a phenomenal spot, like the still hits our creatures, but it wrecks the board of everyone else's stuff, because we have like nothing that matters for those things. Oh no, I'm going to lose my signet.
Austere Command would be phenomenal in here.
Yep.
So, because you target artifacts and enchantments, and most importantly, it separates the creatures between 3 or less or 4 or greater.
Yeah, which is our whole deck is huge creatures.
Yeah. So things like that I would definitely consider. And like Austere Command now is like maybe like $1 because they reprinted it again in the commander deck. So it's like a lot cheaper than it used to be. It used to be like a $10 card. Now it's like dropped down.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, that's my list. I roll our outro. Where's the outro button? If you guys enjoyed this episode and like the things you're seeing, you should be sharing, subscribing. It really helps out. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Lets us do more. If you want to go above and beyond that, come over to Patreon. Pay like as little as $1. Talk decks with us. It's a great spot. The Discord is always open for people. You can see spoilers. You can do that, but you get to brew stuff with us, and you get like the private chat with us and everything. So Patreon's a great way to show a little bit of love as well. If you find any of these cards a little expensive, go over to abyssproxyshop.com, promo code IT99. You're going to get a promo code. You're going to get a discount. It's going to support you. It's going to support us. You'll be able to put some of these more expensive things like you don't feel like getting a Battle of Angels of Tyr for $18 in it, and you still want for some reason to have it there, then go ahead. And then the best sleeves in the game is AI Armor. I can't say enough good things about them ever. They're my favorite sleeves. I cannot get enough of them. They're such friendly people to work with and interact with. They do lots of cool stuff, but the sleeves are cool. So they're really, really good. So we have a link in the bio there. In the show notes, there'll be a link on Instagram, blah, 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 everywhere. And follow us on socials and stuff where we chat most on Instagram and everything like that. But come talk list with us. We do answer messages. I've got nothing but time right now to do that, so I'm just letting you all know. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. That's basically it. I think I hit everything.
Later.
Think so. See you later.
Yeah, now everyone just gets a nice little outro.
Peace out.